How can we embrace our different heritage in our modern paced life?
Well, one way of embracing different culture and heritage is, of course, the spirit of togetherness, being open, as well as accepting diversity in this modern life.
I think that we can embrace our heritage, living in the modern world by weaving its practices into our lives. Culture and tradition is something that should extend beyond time or should last forever. And a lot of people these days, they think that culture isn't relevant anymore because, it's a globalized world. I am more of a global citizen than I am a Singapore citizen. I am more of a member of the world than a member of my race.
I want to say westernization is the reason that young people might be losing their heritage. Whether it's from the music that it's made popular on the radio, whether it's fashion, inspirations and trends, whether it's pop culture on TikTok, it's very westernized. And I think that this isn't unique to Singapore. I feel like a lot of countries around the world are experiencing this as well.
But of course, the nation itself values culture and heritage. We have a literal statutory board for heritage that is there to help retain it. There's a Malay saying, ambil patinya, buang hampasnya. Take the good, leave the bad. So with that, if you take the good and leave the bad, with heritage, surely there are things that are backward. Let go. There's another Malay saying, hilang adat, tegal mafakat. To lose cultural practices, but to retain agreement, to retain harmony. That's how we can maintain cultural heritage even in this modern world.
The most important thing is that we have to put in the effort to want to reconnect with our culture. And I'm happy that I see on Instagram, the people I follow, people our age, have been doing this. As they express it in their art, in their creations, they express it in, maybe final year projects and things like that.
We should not forget our roots. For an example, let's say if our tradition is of going to the temple or something, we should continue doing that. As much as nowadays it is getting very modern and people might not follow doing such things, it should be reiterated. For an example, at our HDBs, we would have seen activities that are being prepared by the community club over there. For Deepavali, they will have something like this activity that go to the Deepavali Bazaar at Little India. So as long as there are such activities that includes all the races, which will not make us forget our heritage, I think it's a good thing.
Custom and heritage is one of the ways that history is carried. Malay people have not been literate for very long. If we cannot rely on literary works to retain history, then we have to rely on culture and heritage. Not necessarily take it as it is, but rather take it for what the value that it embodies, the value that it carries, the stories that it brings. And in Malay culture, it's told verbally through wayang kulit, through Dikir Barat. Our arts carry a large part of our history. And with that, it carries also valuable character, like adab, which is good values in character that we can bring into our behavior, how we treat our elderly, how we treat each other. All these things are actually carried in through our proverbs, our language, our literature, and also our arts. I do believe that in the modern life, we are losing our culture and heritage because people don't see value in it. But what is value pitted on now? Values are not, ironically, pitted on values themselves, i.e. things like respect, patience, virtues. Value is put on the one thing that we all assert value to, which is money. Because of that, culture is slowly eroding because in the modern capitalism, lens can only be seen through the lens of how much money can I make.
It's definitely interesting to see some races still don on their ethnic costumes. For the most part, the Indian females, I still see them wear sari. So for them to wear those traditional costume in this modern life, actually, it's quite interesting. For me, Malays usually wear for special occasions.
I think what we could really do is really have a lot more conversation and have a lot more implementation within offices itself to celebrate the different culture. Even just little things like in the pantry, you can have so much diverse snack, different types of drinks from the different culture itself. The company itself, they can have a lot more gatherings within the company itself that celebrates the different cultures essentially. And I think also maybe the company could implement some dress codes that we could also wear our traditional outfits directly to the office without having a festivity to celebrate.
Whether it's something as something superficial or surface level, like incorporating cultural elements into the way you dress. Another way would be to not downplay aspects of your culture or racial identity when you're interacting with people, because we're afraid of the stereotypes attached to that race or to that culture. Being so wary of that and hiding elements of ourselves to cater to that or to shield ourselves from the potential hurt we might face from comments and stuff is doing an injustice to really who we are as people. Music is very important to me. Music has come to the point where it can transcend just music and being memes. So a lot of humor, a lot of trends, a lot of pop culture goes back to music. And because I identify a lot with Malay culture, a lot of the music that I've listened to and my family listens to when we like go on late night drives and things like that are Indonesian music. I think that's a very, very comforting expression of my culture, yeah, because when I listen to that music, I feel at home and I feel I'm me and I don't have to like pretend and things like that.
Some of the heritage that I practice, which I really adore, I would say is going to the temple. Even though nowadays it is also getting like a very popular touristy place. Temples to me personally is that it's a place where I can find peace. So we should make it a point that it should not just be a touristy place for you to learn about our culture, but you should also respect it. We Indian girls, we put bindi. That's something that I feel like not a lot of girls are following nowadays, but like even for me now. But usually I do, whenever we wear traditional outfit or something, I do wear that.
I think as a Chinese, I really enjoy Chinese New Year because of the free money from the red packets itself. The other festive cultures is like Chinese New Year, Hari Raya, and Deepavali. These important months of the year is what really signifies us as Singapore itself, where we are celebrating and practicing so many different culture and customs here.
Of course, for most people, culture starts and ends with festivals. When it comes to clothing, food, and sort of ritualistic practices in festivals. And I think that food is one of the best ways to retain a culture, retain a heritage, because food tells you a lot about the people. And other than that, of course, I appreciate the clothing.
Food brings people together. Besides talking about food, that's when there are more conversation starters as well as more common things to talk about. And then from there, it will actually help to establish the relationship.
Basically, a simple custom probably would be like a family dinner. It's definitely a custom that we all still do. We sit together with our family for dinner and gather together. Sometimes when my family cook extra, right, we'll share with the neighbors. I feel like that was a back then custom. I'm glad to say that I still do it or practice it. Sometimes I'll pick up like Chinese, then my Chinese neighbor will pick up like Malay, but then my Indian neighbors will suddenly be very fluent in Malay. So by doing these practices, by speaking each other in different languages, I feel like that's obviously a kampung thing where we still do it to this day.
Even though it's made as one of the mandatory language or something in schools that we need to learn our mother tongue, right? I do see other Indians mostly who will not speak in their mother tongue. I feel like there can be a balance in the future. Equal importance should be given to our mother tongue as well.
We used to grow up and we know that Singapore has mainly 4 main cultures, Chinese, Indian, Malay, Eurasian. But now I would say that we are a globalized country whereby there are many foreigners who come from different countries, culture and heritage. But in our daily life, even when we are staying at our homes like HDB, you will notice that there are many races in the block. We can start greeting each other, making friendships. In fact, you can just say hi to your neighbor using Malay, like, hey, apa khabar? Or even when you meet your Chinese neighbor, yeah, you can speak Malay, or you can use their language and greet them also.
The kids playing together, play fireworks, play block catching. I feel like that was a custom thing that we still practice it today. It's very nice to actually see that these things are still ongoing. It's not just like gone. The weekends are usually not only for family bonding but also for our neighbors to interact with one another. There's a playground under my block, so you see different kind of races actually play with one another. There's no like segregation. So if one is playing badminton, suddenly all different races will come and join in.